Hey, out there in the cold, getting lonely, getting old, can you feel me? Hey, standing in the aisles with itchy feet and fading smiles, can you feel me? Hey, don't have them to bury the light. Don't give in without a fight. Hey, out there on your own, sitting naked by the phone, would you touch me? Hey, with your ear against the wall, waiting for someone to call, now would you touch me? Hey, would you have me to carry the star? Open your heart, I'm coming home. But it was only fantasy. Wall was too high, as you can see. No matter how we tried, it could not break free. And the world faded to its blue.
Ain't nobody stopping. Ain't nobody stopping.
Welcome to the real Flat Earth Friday. How are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm pretty good, man. What a double dose. 2 podcasts today. If anyone didn't tune in, make sure you check it out. We had John LeBon earlier today. It was interesting, and check it out. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. I'm excited to be here tonight. There's so much going on. I can't even believe the amount of content that's been going out here right now.
Yeah, we're in the thick of it right now. So, the results have been in for a little while, and we've had the fake flat earthers have their opportunity to come up with all their excuses why the 24-hour sun in Antarctica is somehow possibly, not real or something like that. And now Will Doofus is putting the screws to the fake flat earthers, where people got to step up and somehow defend, their model of flat Earth. And obviously the people that had the sun doing circles overhead, they're standing there without an explanation for day and night now. Their pants are down, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I am noticing we're having a bit of technical issues. There's absolutely no reason for that. I don't exactly know what's going on. Hopefully they work themselves out and we can carry on with the stream, but it's looking pretty bad right now. I can tell you that. It's very glitchy. We're having technical, low bandwidth issues.
All right. Do you want to fight through it, or should we do a reboot?
You want to do a reboot and start over?
Maybe a reboot and start over. Might
Yeah, we'll try it out because our content, this needs to be done in a precise, clear way. Because Jason is going to be sharing some really interesting content with pretty specific stuff that you want to show, right?
yeah, totally. It's going to be tough. If it's glitchy. So I'm going to do a reboot, and the stream should still work. So everybody, hang on for just a couple
If you're
minutes.
quick enough, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can get this stream back up and live. And we should be back, hopefully. The computer really didn't even want to restart, but here we are.
Here we are. Back again. It should be nice and clear for everybody. Thanks for tuning in again. You know, it's a very interesting topic tonight. We can see too far. PSYOP exposed. Angular resolution determines the edge of perceivable reality. This is such a big amount of information to chew on, Jason. Why don't you just kind of break it down real slow? An intro into the topic.
Yeah, so there is some thicker material, but I want to really ultra simplify it and show you that the formulas that we're going to be using are very simple formulas. They're not hard formulas. And what they're going to tell us is what the smallest thing we can resolve is. And that is something at a distance and also something close up. So we're talking about telescopes and we're talking about microscopes, and how there's a limit to angular resolution, and that at a certain degree, even light itself gets cut off. So we're going to be looking at how you can have the best angular resolution possible, what that is, and then we're going to be comparing it to things that are said within the heliocentric model, and we're going to be showing you all how you can do things where you can actually calculate what the actual size of the sun is at a certain distance. And so angular resolution and angular size, these are real things that apply to us because our eyes work like cameras and they're amazing. Anybody that thinks that the human eye just evolved and we somehow ended up with stereo vision, they're nuts. They are crazy.
Yeah, just insane. And just the magnificence and miracle of these avatar suits and the way that this actual reality works. It's such an interesting topic to get into. I'm excited. Apparently we're back up. Everything seems to be running nice and smooth. We have gigabit internet here. The internet should be great. We should never have an issue at all. Again, so Jason, I don't know. I think we should just jump into this. I know you've got a bunch to share. I'm also going to be sharing Will Duffy's now considering himself the resurrection of Christ 2.0. With his false dichotomy observation. It is just getting crazy. The flat earth community is cannibalizing self all by design. Jaron has come out. He's not going to be called a Phoenix. He's not, or it's actually the acronym he created was Pheno, flat earther in name only. He's strongly come out now as a globe earth proponent. We're going to be showing you that, including some interesting timestamps as to when we started showing our model that we use, and you know, how we were able to predict the 24-hour sun above the horizon in Antarctica 3 months and 15 days prior to Duffy even coming out with his supposed false dichotomy experiment.
Yeah, those are good timestamps to have. When you're battling as a truther against New World Order shills, you have to be able to prove that you did something at a certain time. That's what a timestamp is. And so we've been watching these guys for quite some time now, and been able to read their plays and actually call things in advance. And it's become sort of uncanny now. But we'll back that all up with the timestamps coming up. How does that sound, brother?
Sounds great. Let's get into it. Again, thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it so much.
I don't practice Santeria. I ain't got no crystal ball. I had $1 million, but I spent it all. If I could find that Hannah in that Sancho that she's found, I'd pop a cap in Sancho and what I really wanna know My soul will have to wait till I get back and find a honey of my own. Daddy's gonna love one all. And I feel the break, feel the break, feel the break. I gotta live it up. But I really wanna know, my baby, what I really wanna say. I can't define. God, love, make it go. My soul will have to. But I really wanna say, my baby, what I really wanna say is I've got mine, and I'll make it, yeah, I'm coming up. Tell Sanchito that if he knows what is good for him, he best go running high. Daddy's got a new 45, and I won't think twice to stick that pearl straight down Sancho's throat. Believe me when I say that I got something for his punk ass. But I really wanna know, my baby, what I really wanna say is there's just one way back, and I'll make it. My soul will have to wait.
And we are back. We're going to be diving into angular resolution, everybody. It's going to be more fun than it sounds. Let's compare this to some things that a bunch of you have probably witnessed at some point. Maybe a lighthouse you've seen, or have you ever seen one of those airports that has the rotating light that it shines?
Sure that I get another 5x5, trying to keep the volume from not peaking.
Yeah.
I definitely have the mic down, but this is in your court. So basically you're talking about, so we've got the lighthouse, you said, and then at an airport, there's a spinning light similar to a lighthouse, right? That
Hey.
casts light wherever.
You remember seeing those, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. In Toronto all the time.
Yeah, so there's this thing going on in the world right now where a whole bunch of shills are saying, we can see too far. We can see too far. And that's typically fake flat earthers that are steel manning the globe because the space ballers act like you can see light years, millions and billions and trillions of miles away. And no, you can't. You absolutely cannot. And the laws, the physical laws that state how far away you can see something based on its size and distance are the laws of angular resolution. So we're going to do a little bit of a review here. We've covered this topic before, but each time we do it, it's probably going to sink in just a little bit deeper. And we're going to try to keep it simple and understandable for everybody. But so angular resolution applies to things such as optical or radio telescopes, a microscope, a camera, or an eye to distinguish small details in an object, thereby making it a major determinant of image resolution. It's used in optics applied to light waves, antenna theory applied to radio waves, and acoustics applied to sound waves. So each one of these things that it's being applied to is something that they call a wave, and that wave has a measurement. It's a distance. a length, right? So we have different wavelength of light. Now what we have here, look at these images. So this is a series of images representing the magnification of, this is supposed to be some galaxy cluster. And so they're saying that the blow up of this galaxy cluster is the equivalent of being able to see a tennis ball on the moon. Right? A tennis ball on the moon. Wow. It's like 235,000 miles away, right?
Yeah, that's...
So that would be seen too far. That would be a perfect example of it. So the thing that actually is the law or the rule as to what angular resolution is the Rayleigh criterion. And so there's a minimum angular spread that can be resolved by an image forming system that's limited by diffraction to the ratio of the wavelength of the waves to the aperture width. All right, so a ratio is one thing to the other. There's only two factors here. So even though it sounds a little complicated, it's actually a pretty simple and short formula. In fact, that formula is right here. The formula for angular resolution is, all right, the angle in radians, 1.22 times the angular resolution of the wavelength of light and the diameter of the aperture. That looks a little confusing, so what I've done is I've made some cheat cards for us. And hopefully this makes it easier to get this in our head. We'll be going back to our cheat notes. We've got some formulas here. Fortunately, we've got a calculator that does this one for us. And so angular resolution formula. So the angular resolution in radians equals 1.22 times the wavelength of the light divided by the diameter of the aperture. Let me show you what that looks like. So here we have an angular resolution calculator. And look, there's only two things that we have to put in here. There's two things. And one of the things that it's asking for is a wavelength. So I want to go back to where we're at here, talking about angular resolution, and pick up a few more things here. This Rayleigh criterion, what it does is it defines what is resolved and what is not resolved. So anybody that's actually zoomed into something, you see it start to pixelate out, and then there gets to be a point where you can't tell if it's just pixelization or if it's resolving something. So this is the criterion that determines whether or not something is considered resolved. The angular resolution of an optical system can be estimated from the diameter of the aperture and the wavelength of the light by the Rayleigh criterion defined by Lord Rayleigh. To some of this stuff we don't need. So here's the formula right here. And so they go into start talking about some explanations of different light and stuff. So when it comes to this wavelength thing, when searching Google for the best image for the spectrum, where it shows the actual lengths, on the top here you'll see 100 nanometers, 200 nanometers, and it goes up to, so the visible light range is the 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer. And then infrared is longer. And so this right here is a distortion once again. When you go to try to research this topic, the disinformation is everywhere, because if this is the visible spectrum, see it's saying violet right here and red right here. Let me show you what this graphic actually should look like. So here's the graphic that I took from Google. And what I had to do is shrink this spectrum right here to fit the visible spectrum, because if we can see it, right, it's in the visible spectrum.
Yeah, that's great. So you've corrected this now. So what you've done is taken out what we have in the top diagram where we can't see, but they're still showing it as a color, and you've just removed that. Is that correct?
Well, I took the spectrum up here and I squished it to fit here.
Okay, interesting.
right? So here we have the violet, here we have the blue-green, the yellowish green, the yellow, the orange, and the red. So this is 400 nanometers to 800 nanometers, and this is the spectrum that we can see with our eyes. So we know that it's one of these wavelengths here if we can see it with our eyes. Now the infrared radiation, we can't see these with our eyes, but they are longer, right? So you can see that infrared is a longer wavelength, and then the other direction is the UV radiation. So this we cannot see with our eyes either, but the UVA is the 315 to 400 nanometer, UVB is 280 to 315 nanometer, and UVC is 100 to 280. So when you're looking at this spectrum, you've got the longest over here, and you've got the shortest over here. And now what happens is when we go to the calculator, we're going to start with our longer wavelength of 800 nanometers. And the aperture diameter that we're going to go with is the human eye wide open. So this is maximum diameter because the formula for angular resolution is it's based on how big your aperture is. Like this is the criteria, and we're going to compare the human eye versus the P1000 and the world's largest camera and lens ever created, which actually came online this year. So I just want to show here that for the human eye, let's bring up this graphic here so we can start doing a comparison. And so I've already got this all done, but I want to go through and I want to show everybody how you fill in these numbers. And what we have at the top here is the human eyes, which we have two cameras, right? So stereo 3D vision. We have the stereographic virtual reality, and humans have stereo 3D vision because we have two cameras that can actually focus together on something, and the world's largest camera, the SST camera. These are one lens, so they're not stereo, they're not 3D, but they are a lot larger. So the human eye actually varies in size between 2 millimeters under really bright light to 8 millimeters in a fully relaxed eye. During the daylight, about the biggest we can relax our eye to is about 4 millimeters. So just to play sort of the devil's advocate, what I'm doing is using all of the largest apertures possible, right? Because, we'll say theoretically the eye is 8 millimeters. So the wavelength of light at 800 nanometers with an aperture of 8 millimeters has a maximum resolution. Now this is the theoretical maximum limit of a 0.00699. Now if we shorten this wavelength to 600 nanometers, we now have a resolution of 0.00524. And if we go to 400 nanometers, we have a resolution of 0.003495. So let's go back here. That's all I've done is put in the theoretical maximum resolution at 800 nanometers, 600 nanometers, 400 nanometers for an aperture of 8 millimeters, like the human eyes have. Now, these are the theoretical maximums. And in our first podcast that we went through regarding angular resolution, we were pointing out that the actual resolution that a human eye has is 1 arc minute. And I'll show that again. That comes to 0.0166667 degrees. And we also showed in that last podcast that the human field of vision, let me bring up, because I had to reboot, I gotta get my SketchUp models back up. This is an old program, but fortunately it loaded right to the model that I wanted to show y'all. And what this is the human field of vision. All right, so we went through this last time. If you get above and look down here, you can see that this is our maximum width of the field of vision. This is left eye only. This is right eye only. This is the section of our vision that is binocular, right? But then we have a central area where we have color recognition, we have symbol recognition, and that's the yellow and green area. So this is the area that you can actually focus to. And from the side view, you can see that vertically speaking, we can see up to 50 degrees down to 70 degrees, but our sweet spot is this green and yellow section right here. Now what I've done is I've made these are each 1 degree. So if you were to divide this circle all the way out, what you're looking at here is 2 degrees. 1 degree, 1 degree, and then vertically 2 degrees, 1 degree, and 1 degree. And now you'll see down at the bottom, the computer has a real hard time with this. What I did is I started dividing this 1 degree into 60 segments. And when you do that, those are called arc minutes. So each one of these little sections down here is an arc minute. One of these big sections like this is a degree. And if you were to take these arc minutes and divide them by 60, then they would be called arc seconds. Right, so because all observations come back to a camera lens that has an aperture, and that being the human eye or a camera or anything like that, everything is based off of a radius, a radian around you. And there is a maximum to angular resolution. That's what we're going through. So here we went through the different theoretical limits for the human eye, and that was with a 8mm lens. Now if we go to this graphic again, you'll see that the Nikon P1000, this has got a bigger aperture than the human eye, right? Obviously. And so the measurements, they don't actually put it on the camera, but we can actually figure out what the aperture size is based on its focal length, right? So we're learning how to solve for these things ourselves. And so if we go to, let's see, where is this? Aperture. The aperture of an optical system, including a system consisting of a single lens, is a hole or an opening that primarily limits light propagated through the system. More specifically, the entrance pupil as the front side image of the aperture and focal length of an optical system determine the cone angle of a bundle of rays that comes to a focus in the image plane. So actually, learning and understanding f-stop tells us how to calculate the size of an aperture. And I just want you all to see this, that an f1.4 lens is truly a fantastic lens. They've only made a couple of lenses that are better than this, and what this is it's a ratio of the focal length to the diameter of the aperture. So f1.4 shows that it really has a large aperture to focal length ratio. And then each one of these, when you step it down, so when you could rotate the f-stop on a camera, the aperture keeps shrinking and shrinking. And so each one of these are a ratio of the focal length to the aperture as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So if we keep going in here, it's going to tell us that we can actually calculate the aperture of the lens based on that information. But let's just pick this up. For example, a telescope, the aperture stop is typically the edges of the objective lens or mirror. One then speaks of a telescope as having, for example, a 100 centimeter or a 39-inch aperture. The aperture stop is not necessarily the smallest stop in the system, Magnification and demagnification by lenses and other elements can cause a relatively large stop to be the aperture stop for the system. So a lot of huge telescopes become limited by the aperture of the camera that you would be trying to take a picture with. So it's always going to be that last aperture that you send the light through that's going to be your limiting one. So regardless of if you have these mega huge telescopes where it's like, you know, a big building with a 10-foot diameter lens or something like that, it's the last lens of the camera that's actually doing the imaging that's going to be the one that that limits the system. Let's see, I want to point this out. So Elvin Clark polishes the big Yerkes Observation Great Refractor. This is a lens with 40 inches or 102 centimeters across in 1896. So this obviously was probably the highest resolution lens in creation at this time, 1896. And that means that a 40-inch lens would have been the maximum resolving power for things at a distance or on the micro scale, as far as like a microscope would be back in 1896. All right, just one more thing I want to point out about these f-stops. The wider open the lens is like this, the shorter the depth of field is. So a person that has a high-end camera that has a low f-stop lens like this, they're the ones that are able to take pictures where you just get like the subject in focus and then everything in the distance and everything in the foreground is out of focus. This gives you that shallowest depth of field. Whereas when you're at an f8 like this, you've got the aperture closed down. What happens is, it says, in general, the smaller the aperture, the greater the distance from the plane of focus the subject matter may be while still appearing in focus. So this is, when you go to large f-stop like this will keep a lot of your things off in the distance, all in focus, even though they might be miles apart from each other, where the f1.4 will give you, it'll give you only one plane, only one short distance plane will be in focus. So using the formulas that they have here, what I was able to do is divide the let's go to P1000 and look at its specs. It's written right on the top here. The Nikon goes from 4.3 millimeters to 539 millimeters at a 8 f-stop. So when you do the calculation, what you end up with is the aperture when it's wide open, when it's at that 8 f-stop, is a 2.65 inch or 67.375 millimeter aperture. So this is way bigger than the human eye. So let's see what the Nikon P1000 can resolve. Let's see, what was that measurement again? It was 539. No, I need it from here. 67.375. All right, so at 400 nanometers, we have a maximum resolution of 0.000415. At 600, all right, this calculator does glitch out on me a bunch, but I can get it back up again quickly. This was 67 point, what was it, 375?
Yep, 375. That was good memory. Good job.
All right, so we're talking about the aperture diameter of the P1000 at 600. And remember what the 600 is. That's the center of our vision. So 400 nanometers to 800 nanometers. And At 600, the resolution 0.006, and then at 800, this is less, right? So it's 0.00083, and that is all spelled out right here. These are the theoretical maximum resolutions for having an aperture the size that the Nikon P1000 does for these 3 different wavelengths of light. Now we've got the biggest lens ever created in the world. That's the LSST. And that is right here. So all you have to do is type in world's largest lens, and it's going to tell you that it's the LLST, and it's in the Guinness World Book of Records. And I even have a video that I want to go through a little bit and show you all what the biggest camera in the world looks like. So this is the maximum resolution there is in the world, this camera.
This camera is going to make a movie like you have never seen before. This is the LSST camera. That stands for Legacy Survey of Space and Time. This is the world's most powerful.
See, this is the thing. They try to apply a time dimension to light, saying that it takes a certain time. And this is a thing that we're completely refuting. Light is on or off. It's instantaneous. It doesn't have something like a speed over time.
Yeah, because it's been mentioned that scientists over the years have just invented arbitrarily whichever number they want. It was Rupert Sheldrake that said that he discovered that they were fudging the numbers, and he had discovered science's, big mistake when he pointed out that the speed was actually changing over time. The scientists just make up an arbitrary number.
Mm-hmm.
Digital camera. Now, last time I was here at the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory in Northern California, this was up there. It's down here because after 20 years of planning and engineering and testing, it's finally ready to make that movie that will show scientists a look at the universe like they have never seen before.
So that's interesting. Never seen before, right? And this is the largest lens they've ever created.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and do the calculations with this. I'll show everybody. The LST camera has a 1,557 millimeter or 61.29 inch lens, right? So this is the aperture on it. And so let's remember that 1,557. Calculator not working already. Well, that's the old one. All right. So we're starting at our 800 nanometer. That's our reds. And the max resolution, remember this is the first wavelength being cut off, is 0.000359. And we go to the 600. We get a little bit better resolution, right? Because it's a shorter wavelength. Then if we go to the 400, this is our maximum resolution for something that the human can see. This is with the best lens possible. And this is a theoretical maximum too. Remember, it's not going to actually achieve this, just like the human eye doesn't achieve the maximum resolution for an 8 millimeter camera. But so these are the maximums. And we'll take a look at this again. And that's also a 3.2 gigapixel. So the human eye has rods and cones in the back of the eye, and those rods and cones are like the sensors in the back of a digital camera. So when the light comes through and focuses on those, that size gives us the ability to have a 2.8 megapixel field of view vision. The Nikon P1000 gives us a 16 megapixel image, and the LLST has a 3.2 gigapixel. That's a lot of resolution right there.
That's a lot of pixels.
Yeah, but here's the limits for light. Because remember, light gets cut off at these angles. This is when light no longer travels. It's shut off at this angle based on its wavelength. So how do you use this all in real life? Well, the thing is in heliocentrism, they make all these claims of these radical distances and sizes. So what we want to be able to do is calculate whether or not a claim that's made falls within the limits of angular resolution. And if it doesn't, we can just call horseshit on it. It's not even theoretically possible, right? So the thing that most people are interested in is the luminaries. You want to know how big they are and how far away they are. And so what we have here is a SketchUp model for a person with an 8-mile circle of sight. And down here at the center, I've got a guy. All right, so this is a scaled drawing of an 8-mile circle of sight. Now there's a few more formulas that we got to talk about. We need to know the distance to the horizon. And the distance to the horizon formula looks like this. So the distance to the horizon equals the square root of the height in feet times 1.22459. So this is the way that formula is expressed. D equals the square root of h times 1.22459. Now we can also solve for height, and that is d squared divided by 1.22459. All right, so using...
You're just working the math backwards. And again, h stands for height. And what we're talking about here, everybody, is this is how they've back-engineered the globe curvature, right? Because this is at what point objects start to disappear from your vantage point.
Yeah, so I'm just using a circle of sight at 8 miles, but I just want people to understand that in order to see 8 miles, the person couldn't be standing on the ground right here, right? So that's a 6-foot observer, and a 6-foot observer can't see that distance. So we're going to use our formula, and we're going to solve for the height. Right, so we're going to take our distance. I got the calculator up. Where did you go? There it is. So our distance that we're doing is 8 miles. So we're going to go 8 times 5,280, because that's how many feet there are in a mile. And so we're going to take our distance squared divided by 1.22459. That didn't work all right. No, it's miles. So it's just 8 squared divided by all right, so in order to be able to see 8 miles, you need to have an elevation of 52.26 feet. This observer here has to be 52.26 feet up in the air to be able to see 8 miles. And the reason why I'm using this distance is because this might be probably the average distance that a person can see to the horizon. Right, so there are places around town where you're going to get to the top of a hill somewhere, and you're going to be about 50 feet higher than you are around the other areas, and that elevation is going to get you up high enough where you're seeing above the treetops, and you're seeing past the homes, things like that. Now all of a sudden you have a view out to the horizon that's 8 miles, if you're 52.26 feet high in the air. Now what we're doing with this model right here is this dotted line is a 1/2 degree, because the angular size of the sun is a 1/2 degree. So when you do the research, you'll see that 0.5 degrees is the angular size of the sun and the moon. Now, the sun has the least amount of variation in its angular size. It only varies by 3% throughout the course of a whole year, whereas the moon changes its angular size a little bit more than that 3%, right? It varies in its size a little bit. But so what we can do here is with the 3D model, we have a way of measuring this using geometry in the 3D model, but we also want to be able to solve for this mathematically. So what we can do is calculate, let's get the formula up here. The angular size formula. So the angular size formula is where R is the angular size in radians. This is a unit of measurement that we'll be able to convert out of. D is the physical size of the object, and big D, and small d is the distance from the observer to the object. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this model where the sun is a half a degree of our view at 8 miles. And we're going to do some calculations. Let's get this calculator up here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take let's see, the radian. We don't know our size yet, but we have our, I'm trying to remember what I was planning on doing here. This is, yeah, just a second. It's the distance times the radians. All right, let me show you how we do this. I didn't have this perfectly organized, but I'm going to show you radians to degrees right now. So to do that, I'm going to set this to radian, and I'm going to set this to a degree. I'm going to go 1 radian is 57.2958 degrees. Let me get the... This is what I was afraid of with this presentation, that I would get to doing one of these calculations and I would forget my process in the process.
Yeah, you could just keep moving on. Just keep moving to the next tab, next part of the process. We don't need to do the math on everything. I'm sure people are having a hard time just keeping up with you. This is our first time going into this content. We don't need to show the exact math on everything. It's great, Jay. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, I had it where I could just solve this very quickly without any issue, yeah. But the thing is when you do the calculation, what you're going to get is you're going to find out that the size of the sun being a half a degree at 8 miles, that it's 368 feet. All right, because you can do this both geometrically like we're doing right here, and we can do it with a calculator. I'm just going to have to refresh myself on it. But when you choose a distance and you have its angular size, you can come up with its objective size as well. So at 8 miles, something that is a half a degree, like a water tower. So if a water tower is 368 feet tall, it's going to be a half a degree at 8 miles. And we can do that calculation at any distance, right? And it's going to give us, if we have a distance, it's going to tell us its objective size based on its angular size. So we can calculate that out. And the point I wanted to get to most importantly was the angular size of what they say some of the things in space are. So let's go ahead and use the example of Mars quick. And So when you go and you look for the SPECSIV, you know, what they say its radius is. They say its radius is 3,389.5 kilometers. And the distance away it is, they give different numbers. I'm going to go with the closest distance on each one of these, giving them the absolute benefit of the doubt. So we're going to divide that number by 206,650,000 kilometers. And that answer right there is in radians. So I'm going to take this answer, I'm going to convert that from radians to degrees. So now this answer I'm just going to take and copy it here because it'd be easy to hold on to this number, and I'm going to bring this back up. This chart right here. And so this is degrees now, right? And so this answer 0.000939. Well, we can see that the first place you would be able to resolve something like that, 0.00939, you know, it's not resolvable by the human eye, right? The human eye can only see one arc minute. That's 0.01666 degrees. And so this 3 zeros and 93, you would have to have a Nikon P1000 to be able to see Mars, right? But we can see Mars, right? It's within the human resolution of 0.0166 here. The fact that we can see it with our eyes means that the distance and the size that they're telling us is wrong because of this angular resolution here. Now that's Mars, which is closer. Now let's go with something like Pluto, which is small and far away. They say that they can resolve this. So here, the dimensions, this is the diameter. So 2376.6 divided by its closest is 443,682, and that is billion. There's the billion, and the answer is, it doesn't even solve with this calculator, but I do know it will solve with
What's that E?
yeah, it's too
5356785 point E.
yeah, it's too big of a number for that
It's an
calculator.
error. Is that what that
Or
means?
too small.
Error.
So 2376.6 divided by 443,682, and that is billion. So let's see here. We've got, there it
Tens,
is.
thousands, hundreds.
So there it is, 0.00000054. And I just want to show everybody here. I bring up
This
this.
with the dog on it, Pluto.
This is the dog on it, Pluto. And so, oh, I got to convert this. I'm sorry, I got to copy this. And I got to convert that to degrees because that's radians. Something's not right. Oh no! See, it glitched. It gives the E. It can't handle. It can't handle that small of a number. So what you're finding here is that the angular resolution of the things that they're saying, all you have to do is take its size and then divide it by its distance. and that's going to give you an answer in radians. Then you convert that to degrees, and it has to fall within these for sure to be resolvable. Like, you are not going to be able to see a tennis ball on the moon. It's not resolvable. There is a limit, and this right here is the theoretical limit. We don't have anything that can actually achieve these things. So you can see what the trouble that we were having just trying to do things in our solar system. Now, if you apply the idea of light years and that, then it just absolutely so theoretically impossible. It's crazy. Like, you can't say something is that far away because angular resolution simply doesn't allow that. And we have two things that are the limit: the size of the aperture and the wavelength of the light. That's it. And then it's not resolvable anymore. Can't see it. You can't see it. It wasn't there, right? That might be all I do for this tonight.
That's a good introduction into angular resolution and the fact that we can't see that far. You know, the main thing that I take away from that is basically how we're only able to see so far, depending on the size of the aperture mixed with the f-stop. And then we also talked about how there's stereo vision, which is where you have three-dimensional aspect to it. And basically, so what we're saying is the calculations and the observations of the luminaries don't match reality, that you can't see Mars or Pluto with the naked with the eye. Like, it's impossible, yet we can all go outside and see Mars. Every single one of us, everywhere on the plane of Earth.
Which means that they have to be closer and smaller, that they say, right? Yeah.
And again, so this is just the introduction into this topic. We're going to start to break it down, and what is going to end up happening is that we're going to be all armed with the ability to go into any debate space and destroy anyone who's purporting to see to the outer reaches of the known universe, because they're lying to you.
Yeah, all we need to know is the size of the thing and the distance. Then we can calculate whether or not it even falls within theoretical limits.
Yeah, it's impossible, right? And it's crazy that this hasn't been brought up before, but I'm glad that it was. And it's not the easiest kind of content to get used to. I'm going to need to hear it. We're all going to need to hear it more. This is just the introduction into understanding angular resolution.
And I got to get it into my head more, because it's brand new to me. So I'm putting myself out there, and I'll probably say a few things, misspeaks here and there. And somebody will come along and correct me, and then I'll have it right? So,
yeah, that's how we get to the bottom of the truth. We work hard. You put the effort in and the time in, and we will make mistakes. And sometimes we just hit the home run on the first pitch, absolutely. But a lot of the times it takes a little bit of work and a trial and error basis. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't go away. We've got more content. We're going to go into the fake flat Earth community and how it's cannibalizing itself, as well as looking at a little bit of content coming from Jaron. And Will Duffy is literally likening his experiment or observation unto the second rising of Christ. I mean, it's crazy, the blasphemous stuff that's going on. We needed to get through this angular resolution topic. And like I said, I need to go through this again and again and again. And just the last thing I want to say here, while we have this on the screen. So we've got the eye, which is stereo vision, which means there's two eyes, okay? Because people commonly don't understand, why do you guys call it stereographic biblical virtual reality? So the reason we use the word stereo is because it's relating to the word of a two channel of something, whether it be two speakers, two eyes. It's a dual, it's two things. Whereas a singular or mono refers to one pole or one camera or one eye, which we're not the one eye crew. Okay, we got the stereographic crew. Okay, and we want to make sure that we point that out time and time again. So the human eye, it sees in stereo vision inside of a stereographic biblical virtual reality. Okay, then we've got the Nikon P1000, right? That's a mono lens, right? Or it's a singular. There's only one, right? So it can't see depth. You can't get three-dimensional pictures with it. You need to have a camera that has two cameras on it, two lenses, which is interesting. Like the iPhone And other phones now have that. They've got the third camera and fourth camera, and now they're able to start to, read depths. Cars are able to, they're self-driving and doing these things. That's because they're getting stereo vision applied to them. Now, I really think the interesting part of your teaching here, Jason, is these basic points of understanding the distance of angular resolution that we can actually resolve light. So at a certain distance away, we can't see light anymore. It's not that the light is traveling through empty space to us. We're stating that the light turns on.
Yeah,
it's either on or it's off. And when the light is on, just go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say again, because light has a wavelength to it, and you have the longer wavelength, which is the red, and you have the shorter wavelength that is the violet, that based on its length, once you get to a certain angle, it gets cut off. And that angle is determined by the size of the lens, how big the aperture is. So any claims that are being made for seeing things at a distance that are beyond the angular resolution of the world's largest camera, it's just make believe. It's fictitious.
It's a nonsense lie that they've made believe. It goes along with so many other things that the science programs have brought to you, including the speed of light, which we're explaining to you. It's either on or off. There's no speed to it. Okay. But I thought that was a great demonstration. Let's get into a bit of a heavier song, and we're going to get back. We're going to talk a little bit about the cannibalization of the flat earth movement, thanks to the characters that have set it up to fit.
We'll be right back.
Don't let me go. I don't wanna leave. I'm still having fun. I'm not my disease. Starts to fail. In my mind I still feel young. I hope there's still too many tales that you won't forget to tell. Don't cry for my mother, my lover or son. I live the life that's dealt to me. Just let me go. I'm ready to live. I'm still having fun. I'm not mad as hell. Just let me go. I'm ready to live. I'm still having fun.
And we are back.
We are back. And if everybody's seeing exactly what's on my screen right now, I want you all to understand why Jason and I have been calling it the New World Order Freemasonic Pressurized Plasma Pizza Dome. Okay, NASA and all scientists are part of an evil satanic Freemason cult trying to deceive us and eat us, it says. Cannibalize us, right? They point at this. No, that's not true. Gleason's Masonic Flat Earth map, though, yeah, they're all into that. Let's have a closer look at this. What's going on here? QN dummy, the guy that's protecting this like it's his life or death, and his cohort that's making our information supposedly discreditable, Jake the asshole. All you are is you're just Freemason. Yeah, when I say the word dummy, I should be ready for that. Look, they've literally got the symbolism everywhere for their New World Order Freemasonic Pressurized Plasma Pizza Freemason Dome. Okay, here it is, Gleason. Freemason Lodge, number 65. I'm surprised it's not number 66. Look, we've been saying this for years. It's great that finally it's coming out that people are starting to actually understand. You know, and you could see they've created the PSYOP, and the Freemasonic New World Order Pressurized Plasma Pizza Dome map is actually just a sphere that's been squished and Antarctica stretched to the outside, which in Will Doofus's background was an actual Ouroboros. I'm not going to get into that. Let's get into the content. So if you didn't miss it, if you've seen it, Christmas Eve, Jewranism came out, mocked us, called us names. Again, it's the only thing he has is ad hominem attacks. And I want everybody to understand here. All you have to do is flip Jaron's logic. If he says Earth has to have an edge, there absolutely is no edge. And he knows that. Jaron will go and say, until you show me an edge, Earth is a globe. Hear it from the Jewranism's voice himself.
Somebody needs to help me find a map that does work. But there, as far as I can tell, it's just not going to happen. And you can take that to the bank because I've looked at it, and I cannot make a flat map where the sun can be seen south for people on the edge of the map. Think about it. The flat map has to have an edge. Has to. It has to.
So he's creating a false dichotomy, right? His reality. And again, this is the supposed leader that we've been calling out that I had an interview live with 8 years ago and showed him how the sun was circling Antarctica. I personally showed this guy, this clown, this joker. He's out here mocking everybody. Yeah, let's get high. Let's glorify pot. We're cool. You could trust us. We're intelligent.
To be an outer edge of the map. And when you get to the outer edge, how could you be seeing the sun to
outer
yourself?
Edge? Again, he's turning his whole reality. He's putting a pen around it.
The sun is behind you. So the flat. So until I'm open for evidence always.
I'm open for evidence always, he says. So what he's literally telling you, again, everything with Jewranism, you flip it. If he says he's open to evidence, he's shut down.
So I can never, once you say something is a fact, the Earth is a sphere or the Earth is flat and we know it and we don't have to look at anything else, you are creating for yourself an impossible position to ever leave. Somebody needs to help me find a map.
And we've been showing them how this works for many, many years. Here's the next clip. Jewranism has done all this guy has done. 8 years.
We've actually showed it to him on his own channel. Like we went on the Baby Truther show and showed him how the model works back then. And then he just took down that podcast and hit it.
So we've got the timestamps. Literally. Right? This is where, JLB came in and started asking for certain timestamps. There's a bunch more here. But so again, let's talk about this.
It was never an issue.
So all Jaron has done. I showed this guy 8 years ago that the sun circled around the southern pole. I showed him. What did he do? He yelled at me, mocked me, ridiculed me, took the observation I was showing him, and then threw it in a conicalization. He turned it into a 360 and said, see, this is the way it goes, because he is an agent protecting the globe lie. That's his job. His job was to set flat earth up to fail. Listen to this comment out of this guy.
Has the rewriting of history, flat earthers who now claim Antarctica was never an issue, given you pause? everything has given me pause. I've been embarrassed by the people that I used to work very hard to teach and to protect and to help.
I mean,
Teach,
how could
protect,
someone
and help.
Yeah, how could someone say such an asinine lie and straight-faced?
I wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised if he carved that into bullets. Teach, protect, help.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Maybe he'll be the next shooter, right? Absolutely. Teach, protect, help. This guy is nothing but mocked truthers. He's never been a truther. He's never protected anything. He's never helped anything ever, right? Let's keep going. There's more. That's just one thing. Let's keep hearing some
The
more.
odds that it's just a coincidence that this is your 666th video of all time.
So we showed when I made his card, he had 665 videos. I put 666 because he was about to put another one up. And he did. But what he's doing, here, let's hear it.
Coming right on the
So someone asked in his chat, I guess they super chatted him. What are the odds are?
What are the odds that it's just a coincidence that this is your 666th video of all time, coming right on the heels of your deceptive controlled opposition shill fest of an expedition? Chris Money, you will never talk to me again. As I've said, I don't have time for crap like that. Like,
He absolutely said it perfectly.
I control the video count. So stupid.
So Jared is he's proclaiming that he doesn't control. If you're a content creator and you have a YouTube channel, when you put a video up, it moves to one video. If you put two videos up, it goes to two videos. If you take one video down, it goes back to one video. But he's acting like the whole world just has the ability to upload and take down videos on his channel, not him.
Yeah, well, it's probably not him. It's probably Missa or somebody else, and that's his get out of jail free card. Oh, I'm not doing that. But yeah, he is manipulating the video count because obviously he wants his 666 one to be a special one.
Yeah, well, he's gone back down now. He's taken extra videos down. If you check, he's just mocking people, right? That's all he's doing here. So people are saying, we were wondering we were going to have to make the title and the cover tonight Pheno, because he created an acronym, Flat Earth and Name Only, for people that are going to still continue to believe in the AE map and think that that's the shape of the Earth. He was calling them penises, which it needs an I or an E at the end, not an O. Flat Earther and Name Only is Pheno. But that's what he said. So here he is making sure everybody understands that he's not a penis.
How do you feel? Okay, I read that. Sky equals ground, perhaps? It could be. Could be something like that. Could be, but you definitely, the sun, the moon, or upside down, the marks on it. Is Santa real? Could be. I could be fooled.
So he observed the sunspots on the top of the moon while Austin from his Melodome crew said they saw the sunspots on the bottom or the moon face at the top and the moon face at the bottom, right? And he's saying that means he was upside down. This guy's saying that he was upside down on a ball.
About that. You got to know it's round at this point, right?
So you got to know it's round at this point, right? Listen to the character here.
It certainly fits the sphere model.
Hear it again.
How do you feel? Okay, I read that. Sky equals ground, perhaps? It could be. Could be something like that. Could be, but you definitely, the sun, the moon, or upside down, the marks on it. Is Santa real? Could be. I could be fooled about that. You got to know it's round at this point, right? It certainly fits the sphere model.
Certainly fits the smear model. Let's do one more. Let's get the volume on here so everybody at home can hear carefully what he has to say. Jaren is a glurf. I want to repeat that. Jaren is a glurfer.
This was the final experiment, but you're somehow unconvinced of the globe, regardless of the fact that the sun at the poles does exactly what the globe predicts. I didn't say I'm unconvinced. I said that I don't believe in proof, and I'm always open to evidence.
So hold on. He didn't believe in proof. He's munching down on crap. So unprofessional. What he's been doing this entire time. We've been saying to everybody, look, he's got a brick Freemason logo. This is a globe. He had this way before the final experiment was brought out. And you'll notice this constantly turns off and it just says NASA here. He's constantly been showing you nothing but NASA footage. His munching, his snapping. So I want to make sure that people truly understand what he's saying here.
But you're somehow unconvinced of the globe, regardless of the fact that the sun at the poles does exactly what the globe predicts.
So somebody wrote him a super chat and said, how are you so stupid, Darren? The globe Earth perfectly predicts everything, right? And here's what he says.
I didn't say I'm unconvinced. I said that I don't believe in proof, and I'm always open to evidence. That's what I said. The globe, the sphere Earth, perfectly describes the observations that I made. Do you need me to spell it out any clearer to you?
So he won't actually say, I believe in the globe Earth, but he'll say, do I need to spell it out any clearer to you, while sucking down, chomping on stuff on his stream and ad hominem attacking everybody.
And saying that he doesn't believe in proof. I mean, come on. I mean, literally a truther saying that he doesn't believe in proof. Well, that's not a truther right there.
Mm-hmm. He was never here to protect anybody, ever, this guy. Never, ever, ever was he here to protect anything but his own interests. That's it. Nothing he has ever done has been about protecting anything. And, it's interesting that he's now, I guess he kind of has to. He sort of has to come out and say that he believes that he lives on a globe, because he was the guy that they sent down to the Antarctic area to actually do the observations, right? But it's interesting that we've been documenting all this. We've been showing everybody exactly how this takes place for many, many years. This isn't something that's new for our team, right? It's crazy. They've completely shut me off here. My reach supposedly on X/Twitter is completely, they told me you're not allowed to reach anybody because I was supposedly spamming our content, right? So John LeBon came on today. He was constantly going over all these different things, asking. So here he stated, so he asked to see our midnight sun evidence, right? So I told him, did you watch the video? January 28th of 2024, we show what we think is the first real footage of what would be the 24-hour sun in the Arctic. 24-hour sun circling above the horizon, first possible real footage. Jason and I have been literally documenting for almost 8 years now. Me even longer, almost 10 years. I think it was like 8.5, 9 years. How there was no actual real evidence. There was only CGI footage of the Arctic 24-hour sun, let alone the Antarctic. So what we have come to the understanding is that they had videos uploaded, but they've been unlisted on YouTube. And they did this because the controlled argument was that the flat earther Jaronism noticed that in Antarctica, the government was cutting the footage of the shadow fully moving around the posts. They said they were snipping it to save film and the dark hours, when we know that after, is it September 2nd until March 13th, the sun never sets there beyond the 70th latitude. So we've been looking for that evidence. So Jaron was the one who went around saying that there's no proof of it. And Jaron was the one that was supposedly selected to go down to debunk himself, which was the control. So this is how they take out movements or information. They set the argument up to fail. Right? So here it is. From September 2nd to March 12th, we predicted that the Antarctic sun would never set. And we did this last January. Timestamps right here. 10 months ago, we did this, right? And then it's 3 months and 15 days ahead of Will Duffy's observations that he called the final experiment. You can see, right? We've got the timestamps here. We've got them, right? 3 months and 15 days before Will even came out. And in this video here on May 13th, he came out. This is where he first shows himself and he's doing the Freemason pose. I ask you, the viewer, how is it that we were able to come out and we were able to show and document 3 months and 15 days ahead of Will
that there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, showing the prediction to 100th of a degree per second?
Here it is. See on the screen right now, everybody? Here it is. This was January 28th, 2024. If everyone can see that. You want me to zoom right in? This is us inside our model. And this is why we can debate any glurfer including Jaron. And the only reason why no one will actually correctly give us the chance, they'll only ad hominem attack us, misrepresent our model, say that, oh, this is Glurfer modeling, right? Because they'll find an arbitrary number that matches the globe Earth in the data, and they'll say, oh, this proves it. But all you need to do is understand how the coordinate system works. And they've taken the coordinate system, they can put it to any projection, and you can move the pin around, right? And that will accurately show you what we've been saying for the longest time. Okay. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody completely understands that we were way ahead because we were following the path of truth. And like Azazel and Team Satan always does, they always come out and they take what we do and then they try to claim it as a victory for themselves. So in the debate today that took place, where they're using the word tenable now, flat Earth is not tenable, right?
We agreed to 7 p.m. So that's 2 hours I've given you.
I don't know why this started. Is that you, Jason? Oh, okay, yeah, it scared me. I was like, John LeBon's back. So, Mick Toon, MC Toon, however he wants to pronunciate his name, Michael, he did an observation in Antarctica where he calculated the distance to the shadows and the length in this location in the Antarctic. Not this specific one. This was just us showing you where it happens. But it's our modeling program that does it up to 100th of a degree per second, perfectly showing the distances and how long and where those shadows would be, including the fact that Jason can then show you the angular resolution size and show you the exact size of the sun, which you said was roughly 384 feet. Roughly. Exactly. Yeah, so each and every one of the 15 supposed preponderance of evidence proofs that Will Doofus and his team are going to put out, we are going to come and smash. We are going to obliterate it. And we don't care if 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, I don't care if nobody sees it. It's going to go out inside the realm. It's going to permeate from as far as east is to the west. And we are going to continue to destroy these guys, just like we were ahead of them 3 months and 15 days. Long before he even announced his little observation. We already showed it, gave the actual azimuths, altitudes, and precise measurements of the prediction to 100th of a degree per second. Their model can't even do anything right. They don't have a model with the sun circling around the Earth, nor do they have a model with the Earth circling around the sun, flying through the Milky Way galaxy towards the Andromeda galaxy with all the other galaxies correctly in place while moving simultaneously, measuring the distances to the moon and the sun and the Earth all spinning when we only see one face of the sun and one face of the moon, albeit the sunspots do seem to rotate. We aren't disagreeing or denying that, but we're telling you that's impossible. Heliocentrism is a lie. Let's go. Come on. Let's keep going with this. We've got the destruction of the fake flat Earth community. And here it goes. We've been saying, so I brought up today with John LeBon, who's been around for over a decade. Me and him were on a podcast called We'll Do It Live. There was a plane crash. Half the crew, half the team said it was fake. The other half said it was real. It destroyed the entire movement. We had between, I said, 300 and 600 people every single stream. After that, there was nobody left. Everybody's quit. Me and John are the only ones still left. And I don't really consider John to be really doing much. You can go check him out on his own websites. The links are in the description box of the video we did with him. Let's get on to this one. So here we got the destruction and the split of the fake flat Earth community. Best friends, right? Jaronism and Dirty David Weiss deep inside the rabbit hole. Listen, we don't want you to go in rabbit holes. Around here, we put our hands down and pull you back up into the light. We're not the teams sending anybody down into hole. That's disgusting. Okay, let's hear what their fake flight is all about.
How big of an operation this is. The most important secret to the elite.
Here, I really want people to understand the most important secret to the elite that Juranism, and Dirty David Weiss. Listen, if you type into the search bar flatearthjew.com, guess whose site comes up? And not ours.
Guys, how big of an operation this is. The most important secret to the elite, the most important, is keeping the globe lie alive.
The most important secret to the Earth is keeping the globe lie alive. Why do you think that they set Juranism up 8 years ago fighting? And it was me of all people. I'm the one who fought him and said, Jaron, your map's wrong. The sun is circling around the South Pole. Look, it's rising south of east and setting south of west in Ushuaia, circling around the southern pole on a flat plane. That was 8 years ago. Fast forward to today. We're seeing the complete destruction. These two guys, and it was funny because after that, before I even met Jason got on a call with Dirty David, and he got Juranism in the call too. And you then showed him the same thing. You actually showed him the fact that the sun rises due east and sets due west everywhere on Earth twice a year, and it completely destroys any fact that the sun could be circling when it's actually making a straight path.
That's it. Yeah, that was my issue. That was my first timestamp as far as going against the AE map model. That was definitive proof #1 video. And
Definitive proof,
yeah,
which Jaron said, I'm not in the proof. Right?
And it just so happens that it came out 1 week after you had that call with Jaron, right?
It's just the way that it goes. Listen, I've never proclaimed to be the smartest guy. I just wanted to be in the game. I got mocked. I got ridiculed. You know, I didn't bring it up earlier. John LeBon, he didn't invite me to any of his podcasts. He says, ipso facto, Ron, you were on the first one. I was not on the first one. You had me on because you were trying to mock me with some other crazy guy. And it didn't work. But I mean, the one thing I have been is here, putting in the time, putting in the work, searching the shape of the reality, and praying and hoping to continue to be used. That's it, to be used for the truth. That's all I've ever done. But here we are. David Weiss is telling you the most important truth to the elite.
To the elite, the most important is keeping the globe lie alive.
Hiding the globe lie. Keeping the global lie. He basically almost slipped up right there. Freudian slip. Him and Jaron have been working together since day one, and they've been completely against us. But here they are now, apparently. So you remember, Jason, John LeBon said that and he posted this on a video that Jaron made against us. John LeBon said, and I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to be confrontational. He said that I was going to Benedict Arnold you. Me and you, I was going to, because I was turning my back on all the deceivers in the flat earth community, that I was going to just wait, Jason, he's going to turn on you. Well, have I?
No, and Jared said the same thing, but he is the actual Benedict. He's the one that's turning on the whole plain earth movement, right?
Yeah, and David Weiss, here it comes.
Because if the globe lie dies, they lose all control of humanity, right? So think about this, the moon landing. Why did they do that? To keep the globe lie alive.
So interestingly enough, excuse me, you guys, the flat earthers they're not real flat earthers, right? They're protecting the globe lie. They're coming out and they're using all the debunks of the shadows from the Antarctic sun. That is being used to verify and to prove that the moon landing shadows are actually real now.
Yep, trying to bring that back to life.
They're flipping it and saying, see, all the people that were saying that the shadows on the moon weren't real, well, because the moon shadows and the shadows in Antarctica are real, and the flat earthers are saying they're fake, that means that everything else the flat earthers have been saying is wrong.
Alive, right? So they've done a lot of events in this world that took a lot of planning and a lot of people, and they were able to pull them off and fool the world. For example, the Beachy School in Connecticut, the running thing in Boston, right? There was thousands and thousands of people involved with those, right? And if you don't...
Thousands and thousands of people involved? Thousands and thousands, Dave? Can we just be honest? Do you think there was thousands and thousands of people involved in Boston?
Well, if you actually do the math and you start to calculate the Arredonduses and all the different people, all the runners, the fact that they had FEMA drills going on and they warned the people and there was press releases put out and they were setting it all up, there probably were, including all the different hospitals and all the different characters, all the veterans that already had lost limbs that played characters in those roles. Yeah, there probably was. In different hoaxes. Go ahead.
Dave was a part of running that cast, that show as well, right?
Absolutely, Dave was a huge part. That's why he was knighted, right? The arc to
thousands and thousands in Sandy Hook? I think you're just saying shit. Doesn't even have any point to it that you're just...
So what happened was there was constantly, if you go and look on Juranism's channel here, and lo and behold, you see this little check mark. This means that you're put as an authoritative character working for YouTube. This guy. Verified. You don't get this. Nobody just gets this channel. Just nilly-willy. So Juranism And flatearthjew.com, David Weiss, if you go and search flatearthjew.com, it takes you right to his website. I can't believe it. It's true. It's true. They were doing constant podcasts together, misinforming, disinforming over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden, the final experiment comes along, and the two of them haven't been doing anything together. And here we go. So what they're trying to do is split and divide the community and destroy it.
Saying that. Let's keep going. Oops, this is the wrong one. You gotta go
But
here.
you know what, Jason? It's okay. We've been trying to destroy the lying and deceivers since day one. We were the ones who debunked the AE map and gave way more reasons than the fake globe earthers are trying to do now. We've destroyed this model.
Yeah,
We've been waiting for this.
We want it gone. We've been trying to get rid of that model this whole time. So the fact that it's gone now is fantastic, because that leaves behind only one model that makes predictions on a plain Earth, and it's the one that we're using.
Yeah, in reality, in truth, that is right. But the fact is these people have never been flat earthers. They're a community of Freemasons that want to stick together and continue to perpetuate a lie to keep the globe lie alive.
Come on, get the right color. There we go. Let's continue on.
Think that those were, events. You
It's
haven't
funny,
done
Jaron talks to himself during his streams. It's crazy.
your research, and feel free to email me, and I'll send you the information so you can look. So I think this is an operation bigger than those two put together, and as important as the moon landing. So to think otherwise is naive, right? They're watching us. They change things. They blow up the Georgia Guidestones when we have.
But you can go there, Dave. Go there. Do a crowdfund. I'll be the first one to throw $200 in the kitty.
In the kitty. Who talks like this? Like these guys, Jaron, he always has some of the most disgusting language. He's always, let's bet. You want to bet? Blah, 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 blah. He's constantly saying this stuff. This is just a monster. This is just a con man.
People will pay for you to go to Antarctica.
He's probably
Then what are
already
you
been
gonna
there.
say? Because your lies only work. Your story only works until you've been there. And then you realize how goofy you sound. That's why I went, so that you wouldn't sound goofy.
Oh,
Oops. Rock solid information. They backpedal. They change the globe post constantly, and don't think that this wasn't well planned. My hypothesis is this was planned for over a decade.
Oh, that's good hypothesis. I'm sure you have good evidence for that.
I can literally show evidence that I could do it right now here live. I can go to Beyond Flat Earth. That's Jason and I's channel that we started to put content up. I can go to videos. I can go to oldest. Look at all this stuff, everybody. There's just a wealth of information here. You can see all the things that we started with, all the things that we got wrong, the things that we got right. Here, this is a re-upload. It says up the wall with Jaronism. Listen, I can put forward an in a court of law, a case that I exposed that Juranism and Dirty David Weiss were setting the globe Earth up for victory, and they were setting the fake flat Earth community up for fail. I showed him, listen, literally showed him.
Atmosphere with the sun rising in the south of the equator and setting in the south. So
So the sun is circling around the South Pole. Look.
Circle would continue that way. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
So I was showing him that the sun would go behind his head in this model of reality. Ladies and gentlemen, this was September 11th, 2016. I showed this. September 11th, 2016. This is Duran.
Okay, so we're saying that the sun is traveling kind of on that yellow line there?
And he tries to play word semantics and all these different games, and then he goes and he does this. He thinks he has a gotcha. He takes my image and he puts it into a program and tries to turn it into an AE.
But that's what we can physically measure. So that we have to deduce that this conical is wrong.
He's turned it into a conical projection. Does everybody see this? This was 8 years ago. I showed Jaron Juranism, and so they planned. So after I showed that to Jaron, he was probably like, "Damn! Oh shit!" They figured it out,
And
right? There's
guys like Russian Vid that have come out and said that 9/11 was given 10 years from 2005 to 2015, and the fake flat Earth was given 10 years from 2015 to 2025. And he said that the New World Order is moving on. They're going to do something else now, right?
Well, I'm trying to make a point here, Jason.
Yeah.
If people understand, I'm showing you that I got lucky and figured out that they had a plan, and that was to say that there was no circling 24-hour sun in Antarctica, and then send Jaron, the guy that discovered it, to say that there is one, and that proves that the Earth is a sphere. Look, we've got characters like Patricia Steer. Jaron, the media treated you so horribly. Over and over again, the things that Jaron says are the reasons the media didn't treat Jaron horribly. They reposted his words. He said, sometimes in life you're wrong, and I'm wrong. And Will Duffy and the globe Earth is right, because he looked at a path of a luminary in the sky. You got IPS here, who's shape agnostic, but has a channel named Infinite Plane Society. He's going to be in trouble when he figures out that you can be put inside of an infinite loop and tortured for all the disgusting, demonic, evil things that you do. Have you seen Altered Carbon, IPS? You might want to check that out. So again, I'm bringing up the point that I seen what David Weiss is saying. He's double speaking. They always tell you, I got lucky, or I was following the path of truth. And I was the only one. I literally was able to get Jaron on a live stream and expose that the sun actually does do a rotation off of this map. And he denied it. They must have been like, I can't believe this guy figured it out. What did they do? They kicked me out of the community. I lost my channel. They ridiculed. They mocked me. They did the same thing to Jason. But luckily, bro, I found you and we started working together. And we've done it ever since. So here we go. Dave is explaining it.
This was planned for over a decade.
Oh, that's good hypothesis. I'm sure you have good evidence for that.
I just showed the evidence. Absolutely, they did.
Planned for over a decade. For 10 years, they planned to send me to a little camp that's there every fucking year.
And they put the actors in place.
What actors?
So is Jaron think because he swears that it makes him sound more convincing?
Jaron's an actor. He starred in Behind the Curve.
That's right. Which, interesting, with a fake experiment that he set up to fail, right? Oh, I got treated badly by the media. You did exactly what you needed to do to buy your house. And Jaron's going to be out of the community soon. He's done. He got his big payout. We're guessing at least $1 million up front, and he's probably going to gain millions off of royalty.
Right? So I got a couple of very, very short videos I'm going to play throughout this, and we'll go from there. But I want to read a quote to you. It says, now, if we want to ascertain the shape of the floor of any large room, we get down to the floor itself and do not go about measuring the gas globes or spots on the ceiling.
Right, because on most people's ceilings, there isn't something that is as perfect as the sky clock.
What?
Oh, using Dave's line back to him.
Yeah, that's gross. The sky has you know what? That's what he likes to say, everybody there.
Do you understand? The sun does the same thing for every year for all of history. So to compare it to lights on your ceiling in your house that don't move, that have no path, is folly. Stop reading quotes that have nothing to do with your point.
So it is with respect to the Earth. To determine its shape, we take observations of its surface. For whatever be the shape of the Earth, heavenly bodies be the shape of the heavenly bodies, made only for lights, they cannot in any way affect the surface shape of the Earth. That's
right.
He just butchered it. I don't even know if I can go on with this. Listen, these two are fake fighting, right? All this is actually planned. They're staging all of this. Both sides of them are coming up with their own different arguments to easily debunk. Yeah, Jaron brings up maybe the information about Will Duffy being charged and people are suing him. That could be all fake. You know, they could easily make that up because that's what they love to do. They like to make up false misinformation that they can easily refute. That's how they gain their power. Jason, do you have anything to say before I move past?
Well, if you do search doofus and like financial crimes, you will get a bunch of hits, and something does look like it's an SEC complaint. So it does look like there is some validity to people wanting to sue him because he broke SEC rules.
Yeah, well, Jaron says he'll bet David Weiss. Want to bet that Will's not going to do any time? Right? You want to bet, he says? So they know that the gig is up. So let's move on to, so what happens is Dave and Jaron start fighting, right? Flat Earth Jew and Flat Earth Juranism. And they get their hands like this. So now you have Karen BH. She's joined over here. This is Lowry's channel. Just one of the most disgusting people in the internet, right? I went on one of the podcasts. This guy had to leave. He couldn't even be around me. He's so afraid of truth. He ran. He ran like a little girl. And then when I left, he came back and started talking behind my back like that. That's these kind of characters. This is his channel. He got DJ Curious, the newest guy to the mix, right? The guy he's just curious, right? That's all he is, just a curious guy. He wants to come out of the flat earth closet. He's curious. He wants to do what he's doing. So he's been thrust into the forefront of the community. You got Ironwork, who I asked this guy, what are you going to do when Jaron measures the 24-hour sun? I literally went on their podcast and showed them the footage from 2021, December 4th, so total solar eclipse from Union Glacier, showing the sun not setting already, which none of these guys cared about, that Jaron and Will Duffy were actually hiding from you, that it was already filmed, done, documented, 360'd, everything. Multiple cameras, 2 360s, one up in the air, one down on the ground. They hid it all. Right? So all these people here are denying, except for Karen, they're all denying that the observation that Jaron took is even real. So she shows up here. She's been on here for a while. This right here, Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, this guy has been on Jaron's podcast where they smoke dope and mock stuff. What is it called? Reefer Roulette. This verified YouTube channel, Juranism, the most trusty person that's been out here protecting everybody, he said, for the last 8 years, right? Lying to everybody. I showed him the observation that he denied, right? Do you think he said, thanks, Ron? Thanks, Ron. I appreciate that you were there to tell me the truth 8 years ago. Nope. What does he do? He goes online and he mocks me on his channel, makes fun of me, and puts out a bunch of ad hominem lies. So here we go. Let's hear. This is the team under Juranism and Dave. Let's see how it's going for them.
Look, I don't have a whole bunch of insight right now because, first of all, our guys just barely got home.
Our guys? What are the is she their boss? I know she took over for the Flat Earth Pulp, Robbie Davidson, right? What does she mean, our guys? Is she inferring that they're all agents working together for some team that we're not on?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't understand. Our guys.
We have not seen but a fraction of the video and the data.
At least she's calling it videos. There's no data. They didn't do any measuring.
And the stuff that they have got. For me personally, the fact that our guys were not streaming so much and they were like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That to me speaks volumes, because as someone who has actually been out somewhere in real life trying to do a test like this, because in case anybody doesn't remember, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but in 2018, me and Effie Core, a number of men, we all went out into Hungary on Lake Balaton, right? And we did those long distance laser measurements. Every single one of them was a globe debunker. Okay, but I just want to tell everybody that,
you know what happened? So FE Core didn't even stand for Flat Earth Core. It stand for Field Engineers. None of them were engineers, right? All they did was create a 501c3 group where they were probably embezzling lots of money through, right? They went to Lake Balaton and it wasn't even frozen and they couldn't even do any of their tests. They just shot a laser out and said, that's it. And she's out here grandstanding like she debunked the globe. Where's the evidence, Karen? Where's put your money where your mouth is?
When I went to Hungary in February, which is winter,
so
and
cold.
the lake, we were expecting the lake to freeze over. I had no idea how cold it would be. No idea.
Wasn't frozen.
And it was so cold that it hurt. Every bone in my body hurt. I'm a young person. I felt like at that time I was in very good shape.
I'm a young person. What is she even saying?
Very good shape.
Exercising regularly. I went to Lake Balaton and I felt like I was very ill prepared for what.
So she's trying to like make it like Juranism and Witsit doesn't get shit. They're these heroes that like we should bow to them. They put their bodies in such danger.
What I walked into. I mean, I remember being there trying to look for the laser, and there was literally freezing hail and stuff like coming at my eyeballs. Okay, it was all I could do to like take my glove off long enough to push buttons on the camera and then put the glove back on so my hands weren't freezing off. I don't think anybody understands how difficult it is to operate cameras and this type of sensitive equipment, because cameras, microphones.
Look at this guy's face.
Some of us grew up in the north in conditions that are just as bad or worse.
Yeah, they should have sent people down from Canada, from Grand Prairie. Right? They should have had Matt Long and his family go down, right? Not Juranism and Witsit doesn't get shit. Guy from LA and a guy from Florida.
These are all very sensitive
They were
types of
cold.
equipment, and you're taking them into sub-zero temperatures. This is not easy. Your batteries drain faster.
Because these people are like, where's the footage? Right? There is no footage. Jared and Witsit went down there to say that the earth was a ball, period.
Sometimes things just don't work right.
They got paid.
Your connections cannot work right because
Person posts up here, Flurf tears yummy, huh?
you're talking about a temperature is a major coefficient of anything when you go out into the field, right? So when things freeze, they shrink. Connections may not work properly, right? Because you know the heat.
This guy's face. Ironworks is kind of funny. I wish these people weren't so ridiculous denying the evidence, right? It's crazy that they're denying it still. And this guy here, he's kind of funny sometimes too. But this is about to change here.
And the expansion and stuff like that. Like, I just feel like nobody is giving anybody any sort of give for what they went and did. Well, maybe that's because everybody thinks it was fake. Well, again, why don't you guys wait until they come back with all the data and show us what they recorded and the readings they took and everything, and then maybe we can decipher that after the fact. But it's like, man, they can't even get off the plane. They can't even come back. They can't even cross the equator. And
I mean, what kind of nonsense language is this person up here saying?
They didn't record anything. That was all the Spaceballers that did the recording.
We've been telling everybody for 8 years since I showed Juranism that the sun circles around the South Pole, and he fought me for it. We've been telling them that these people aren't flat earthers. They've never been. They were here to protect the globe lie. Then you still have people up here trying to defend them.
But he's like, it's fake. They're shills. Everything's fake. Well, why don't you let them bring back the data? That's what I don't get.
Footage.
Why don't you let them bring everything back?
Karen, I know it was supposedly really, really cold. And like you said, batteries and electronics react badly to cold. People that have bought electronic cars have found out that the cold is greatly impacting their ability, as if people have found that the heat does as well. And that's why I would say it would probably be prudent also to be saving as much video resource and everything else as you possibly could to not put a drain on that battery in order to be able to
stream. So why should they be wasting batteries live streaming?
I know. Why would they waste batteries by having chroma key turned on?
Oh, get out of here. That doesn't, as long as the device is on, I mean, like chroma key does not add any more. Like, it's not going to drain the battery on you.
Okay. You toggling chroma key on and off inside your program doesn't drain the battery. I can't even believe that this guy said that. And you know, it's because he's using the chroma key right now, right? So he must be watching the battery life on his laptop.
Right.
That eats up a lot of resources. Right now,
do you ever use, you know what though? Do you know what it means to change your batteries, your camera settings? Like for me, I felt like it was completely understandable for them to be going through everything that they went through, all the hoops they just jumped through to go to Antarctica, and he takes it in, don't talk over me. And he takes his laptop down to Antarctica.
Hey, stop.
Yeah, please, come on.
How hard that was?
Anyway, so they have to unpack their bag, repack their bag. They have to go through check-in. It's all special. Everything about this trip is nothing like going to the north. And I feel like if everybody would just shut the fuck up and pay attention to what's going on, then you could take notes on all the things that are drastically different what it takes to go to the South Pole than it takes to go to the North Pole. Like nothing about what they're doing is the same as what it takes to go see the 24-hour sun in the North Pole. And don't you guys remember that on the globe it should be the fucking same?
So now she's trying to bring forth an argument. So again, even after the observation was made, people are still clinging to any bit of evidence that their pressurized Freemasonic New World Order pressurized pizza dome can still exist, right? So she's making the argument that if we lived on a globe and the globe was tilted at 23.5 degree axis, the sun circling around going up and down should indicate that you should have the same temperatures as they do in the north, as they do in the south. The only problem is in the north, it's mostly water. As far as we know, we haven't been able to, what do they say, freely investigate our own, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's just ocean.
Just ocean, right? Right, where the sun circles around the north and then it goes down and circles the supposed southern pole, right? So her argument is because the fauna, right? They say there's no ice, there's no life in the south, and then in the north there's all these life. So that somehow is supposed to keep the pressurized plasma Freemasonic New World Order pizza dome alive, right?
And it isn't. It's drastically different. Like, why aren't we paying attention to these details? Who fucking cares what the sun does in the sky? Hey, guess what? Anywhere you go in the realm, the sun revolves around you. It's fucking...
It's true.
Yeah,
it's tilted based on your latitude.
Yeah.
Magic. Who cares? The earth measures flat. Water is flat and level. We can see too far.
Right. No. Look at her. She looks up and to the left. And if you do the research, you'll find out that that's the side of people looking that are lying. Listen, she's supposedly an engineer. She was a part of FE Corps, but she can't realize the problems with resolution, angles of resolution. And there's also what's called the vanishing point.
We do not see too far.
That's like, you know, the word of the day. You should have like a... Play the thing. Karen B., you are an absolute dummy.
You dummy!
We're going a little overtime. Is that all right, Jack?
Can't see too far.
Can we go overtime?
Sure.
You don't have to go to the bar, do you?
Nope.
No drinks for you? Okay.
So I don't understand why everybody is freaking out about the sky. Like, some of us have been thinking about this for a while. Some of us started out watching the sun, like me. And I realized very early on that every single sky observation matches the globe.
What? Get out of here!
Good.
Hang on. Did she just say that? Every single sky observation matches the globe?
She said that.
Let's hear that again, everybody. Here, this is the top flurfer, the one that creates all the conferences, right?
This for a while. Some of us started out watching the sun,
I should slow it
like
down.
me. And I realized very early on that every single sky observation matches the globe.
Oh, really? Jason, do you still have the tab open with the heliocentric debunk that JLB didn't let us show? If you don't, we can keep going. If you do, we can show you that the ecliptic plane and the tilt of the Earth on its axis at 23.5 degrees would only actually facilitate a due east, due west rise and set only on the equator on the solstices, not on the equinoxes, as purported and measured from the ground observations. Nor could everybody from the top of a sphere to the bottom of the sphere take a compass out and point it to the east and see a sunrise 90 degrees due east and a sunset 270 degrees due west on a sphere anywhere at any time, right? But when the Earth is tilted on the ecliptic path, I don't know if Jason has that and pulls it up, you can actually see that it doesn't comport with what we see in reality.
Let me just finish setting this up a little bit. And so let's go to, we're at the equinox. Let's bring the time of day around a little bit. And you're going to see that at the equinox, on the heliocentric model, and this is really the geocentric model as well, You can see what the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees sideways to the sun at the equinoxes. So with that tilt, because this is the ecliptic plane, there would not be a single place on Earth where the sun rose 90 degrees east and set 270 degrees west. And then if we go to the winter solstice, where are you? There it is. We can see that at this time of the year, this would be the only time that you could have a 90 degree east sunrise, 270 degree west sunset, and it would only be at the equator.
Only. Do people understand that? This is their actual globe modeling software that shows the sphere, it shows the sun, and it easily shows that if you look carefully at it, at the ecliptic plane, and the reason why it works for both geocentric and heliocentric models, all you have to do is open a program like Stellarium and see how much of the ecliptic constellations can you see from the Arctic and how much can you see from Antarctica. And you'll see that there's a tilt to that. So the sky itself is what's tilted, not the plane of Earth. That's flat and stationary, exactly the way that the scriptures said it was. The sky is on a tilt, right? And then the sun, depending on your latitude, is tilted to the observer and it equidistantly circles around you. That's the model that we purport to, and that we can accurately predict things up to 100th of a degree per second, and we can debate anybody in the world at any time and destroy them.
Yeah, because what they've done is taken the model that we use on a plane and tried to apply it to the ball here. You can see that this is the end of the plane right here, and then it just has nothingness and it crashes. The sun crashes right into the Earth. So they cannot model the heliocentric model. It's actually impossible to model because of the scales involved. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're showing that. And there's no one else that's actually bringing that to you. They all want to do this. They all want to fight. Let's keep going. Let me know when I'm back.
You're good.
Thank you for bringing that up, Jason. Excellent.
Every single one that I made matches the globe from 10 years ago. So I stopped doing that.
Oh, she got scared of that.
Because it's Earth observations that show you that the Earth is flat. Nothing terrestrially.
She's pointing witchcraft symbols all over her body. She's a proclaimed witch. I'm not calling her that. She is. She says that she is.
Tells us that the Earth is a globe. So why is everybody freaking out about this? I really don't get it.
It's not even, we understand.
What's the PSYOP? What's the fucking PSYOP?
Are you shitting me? They hadn't even come back yet, and it's all over Australian and New Zealand news. Flat Earth.
Meanwhile, they
did you expect any different?
No, we didn't.
That's not a PSYOP.
That's the PSYOP.
That's not a PSYOP.
Yes, it is.
That's not a PSYOP. It's a setup. It's not a PSYOP. It's a setup.
They're starting to get going crazy here. Listen, I literally went and told these guys personally that this was going to happen. And Jaron, through his little rant with David Weiss, explained that Will put out an ad with what's called the AP, which is the news organizations, and every single one in the world is running it. It's a PSYOP. It's a psychological operation that was planned. Jaron was planned to do it 8 years ago. He mocks David. Yeah, 10 years, David. 10 years, right? Because Jaron wasn't given the assignment up until at least it was only 8 years ago that Jaron was given the assignment. He was the one that said there was no 24-hour sun due to the fact that the government was hiding the footage from him. So yes, it's true. But here we go. Here comes the cannibalization of these people are fake flat earthers. They haven't been around. This guy just showed up in August. Literally. Patricia Steer had to have some work done, or she had to leave. And she told Mark, don't fall in love, or don't, she's with this guy. And then all of a sudden this guy shows up. He's curious, right? Hi, I'm curious. I'm coming out of the flat earth closet. This guy here, no idea. We know that he's on Fartzoid's channel, another agent who was set up to be all they do is steel man the globe. A steel man is not what you hear commonly termed a straw man argument, is where somebody sets your argument up to fail. These guys are steel man arguers. What they do is they set the globe up to pass, to succeed. Right, Jay?
That's how they do it. The steel man. Sneaky.
These are
It's a
steel
way
manners.
of supporting your opposition in a fake debate. You steel man them. You set them up to win.
Exactly.
Absolutely part of a psyop.
It's not a psyop.
Here we go.
Y'all
Bring it
should have
all
known.
back down. Bring it all
No
back
yelling.
down, guys.
Do we have to play
Bring it
a
all
really
back down.
fucked up video so that we can like chill
How
the
it,
video out?
it's a psychological operation is when they produce something that is not real to make you think it is real. So do you think the 24-hour sun is not real?
I don't know. I haven't
I think
seen
that
anything that would give me credible
I mean, they live streamed the sun not setting. Sovereign soul, unchained mind. Your mind is super chained. They live streamed the sun not set. They right away, first day they were there, it was over, done.
Like I said,
So
I'm on
you
the
don't
same boat
trust-
as I was before, right?
So you don't think that Jaron and Austin
I
are
took
telling the
Darren
truth?
and Austin out of it. I'm not worried about personalities.
Okay,
I'm looking
now
at what
that's
did I
another thing.
receive so far.
Okay, Sav, that's another thing I want to address with you because I've been watching streams over the last few days and I've seen you join every stream and spew the same bullshit on every single stream.
And that's all these people do. These guys here. And one thing about this guy here, if his name was just DJ and he was just out here fighting for truth, I wouldn't have anything to say about him. But the fact that he's got an agenda, right? And it's a really bad one, too. And that's why I keep bringing it up, too. I just want to make sure everybody understands. I really don't care about this character, except for his agenda. Hi, I'm DJ Curious. He's not a DJ, right? Nor is he actually interested in finding out the true workings of this reality. He's not. He doesn't care. He's here to steel man the globe. Now, this guy here, the chain smoker, I call him, unchained smoking mind, chained smoking mind. They're just constantly on podcasts. They don't screen share. They don't go through information. They brought up a picture of this Ironworks guy. We showed it last week. He said, break it down, man. Do what you do. And he didn't even know how to zoom in on the picture. He was like, oh, you got to zoom in on it. Hit the command plus on your keyboard. This guy was like, yeah, the angles are going to the left and they're going to the right. I mean, it's just ridiculous that these people are even, and of course, the YouTube promotes them. They get put in the sidechain. They send people to their channel to watch it. They don't do anything but talk, and they talk nothing but shit.
So let me just ask you this. You keep saying repeatedly, my emotions aren't in it. It doesn't matter if you trust this person, blah, blah, blah. Well, the Globies brought back the data. So if you're not emotionally invested, shut up! I'm not done! I'm not fucking done! I'm not done, you fucking loudmouth asshole Chong looking motherfucker! Let me finish!
What? He does sort of look and sound like Chang. It might be a compliment that she gave him here. Let's hear it one more time.
Asshole Chong looking motherfucker. Let me finish. So anyway,
he's acting like a woman.
If that is what you feel, if you don't feel emotionally involved to trust Jaron or trust Austin to bring back valid information, and you're like, oh, the emotions aren't in it, I just want data. Well, then why don't you trust the data from the Globies? If your emotions aren't in it, then you shouldn't even fucking care. Oh, it's not about who you trust or who you like. Well, if it's not about who you trust or who you like, the Globies...
Where's DJ?
He's out. Like that, he couldn't handle that.
Look at his logo.
Went to a safe space.
Wow, this got just obliterated.
Yeah, the AE, the circling sun, dead. Done.
And I mean, I killed it 8 years ago with Juranism right here. I mean, and not only that, but I was actually showing specifically with slides every single thing that you would need to possibly understand how the sky works. And it doesn't at all prove a globe. At all. You're absolutely wrong.
All the measurements are taken from a plane.
From a plane.
Please brought back the data.
Do
you not trust that data?
Do you think that I based that off the personalities? No, I based it off of what I saw, Karen.
So everybody from both sides is saying there's a 24-hour sun. So what the fuck is your problem?
I don't know that the people, listen, I'm looking at the same shit that I'm seeing that before we went, right? Trust me, bro.
Why are you looking at the same shit before you?
There's no trust me, bro. They literally live streamed the sun not setting. I mean, there's There's no trust me, bro. This guy, he's willing to say, and you know, when I told this guy, hey, what are you going to do? He said, no, you know, they're going to have to send people back again next year, Ron. Or I'm not going to
make sure it happens every year, right?
They got to, they got to do it again. And then next year when it happens, I'm going to be questionable about that too, they said. I said, are you guys crazy? What's wrong with you guys? What is going on?
We went. Things are different. Now we've gone.
Why are they different? Because a couple of guys went down there and said that I'm on the flat earth side.
No, it wasn't a couple of guys. There
Karen,
were 10
Karen.
people. There was
She's freaking.
a whole entourage. A bunch of people went. 50 cameras. Remember, you said it your fucking self. Oh, but it's not real.
Oh, look at that.
Dude, I remember you said it your fucking self. Oh, but it's not.
Oh, her eyes are literally rolling into the back of her head.
Oh, demon.
Oh boy, what's going on?
Not real.
1909.
Dude, I'm
There's
so
been people
over
there
this
since
old
1909.
retard fucking Chong motherfucker, dude. Seriously, you
so
are
you know what-
dumb.
so do you know
you
what-
are dumb.
Get a hold of your fucking fifis a little bit there, witchy poo. All right?
Oh my.
Seriously.
Okay, time the fuck out.
You're a
All right,
fucking
guys.
idiot.
Let's
You're
take
a
it.
fucking idiot.
Let's take a chill pill here,
I'm
guys.
calling time out.
You're in the fucking
It's-
tank.
Let's just take a chill pill
What
here, guys.
fucking tank?
Like a military tank?
No, the tank of misinformation.
What?
Oh, right, because you know
The
so
tank of
much fucking
misinformation.
Chong.
Dude.
Shut the fuck up.
Fucking
Like, you're not
pulling
even
it at
thinking
me. I
clearly.
ain't pulling
You
it
go
at
on every streaming, spewing the same fucking bullshit.
So, what about it?
So,
You go on the same. Look at you. What are you, like,
subscribe to my.
Getting crazy. What is going on? These are the people that supposedly are fighting for the truth of flat Earth. I mean, it's almost done, ladies and gentlemen.
Channel, I
already
go
lost.
against Jaren. I know
You
truth.
lost.
I mean, he doesn't. He's literally a co-host. He's a co-host with Juranism. Literally.
Because
I've been
blah,
going
blah,
against
blah.
Jared.
Nah, man,
I've been
Jared-
going against Jared.
They going against Jared, right? Oh, don't say that. Oh.
Okay.
Against everybody else,
You're
man.
an ignorant.
I'm
fuck
just
if you
so
think
tired
that.
of these
Oh,
fucking
now she's an ignorant.
retards, you
Everybody
guys.
else.
This
This
is
is
why.
not- this
This
is
is why I
actually
stopped
not-
You're
doing
ignorant fuck if you say
conferences
that.
because
Oh, this is why. And I mean, we've been having a debate. Will the conferences go on? Are they? No. Now Mark Sargent's taken over, and he's like, "Oh, the next conference is going to be amazing." Have you heard, Jason?
No, I haven't heard.
Yeah, he's trying to plan the next conference. He's taking it away from Karen. She's quit. She never wanted to do it. I mean, I don't know how anybody would want to do it. I mean, how much does the CIA have to pay you to deal with these people? Look at, they're all steel manning the globe. They have since day one. This guy won't even agree with the observations. He says, "Trust me, bro." When there's like Dave McKeegan already had put up the 24-hour time lapse of the sun not setting, and you had Will Duffy that already live streamed it. They don't believe it because it was the Globers that put it up. I mean, we've gotten to the point now in the fake flat Earth community where they've done absolutely everything they can to make sure that nobody believes in flat Earth anymore.
Yeah, it's the divide and conquer. Like you've mentioned, they come in and they split the groups and they split the groups and they split the groups.
Mhm.
And then you're going to see the leaders of those groups walk away. And everybody just gets left in shambles and there's no organization. And everybody quits and goes away and goes back to, going on the SPACEBALL again. They just give up.
Absolutely. Well said. That's exactly what they do. Divide and conquer. They've been doing it for thousands and thousands of years. Look at how much filter this guy has on his face. Will, there's a setting that you can turn it down. Turn the filter down. You look plastic, bro.
Plastic face.
You're getting too carried away. All these guys are getting so cocky. This guy is literally saying that his experiment is the second resurrection of Christ. Listen to this.
No audio.
So there's definitely audio. You want me to rescreen share?
Try it again.
So he's taken down the AE symbol off of his TFE. It's gone, the Ouroboros that he had.
I'm not getting audio on my end.
I'm going to rescreen share.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. I'll bring that up again, everybody. Want to make sure that we all hear this. Let's get this again. Look at this demon. David Weiss was right. This guy is a demon.
Is simply irrefutable.
It's good.
It makes flat Earth impossible. And here's the cool thing about TFE.
Cool thing.
The final experiment changed this debate forever. The topic of flat Earth will always be remembered pre-TFE and post-TFE. You know how we use BC to refer to before Christ? Well, I think we should start talking about flat Earth as BTFE and ATFE.
I can't even believe. I can believe the ego narcissism coming out of this guy.
Trying to make himself as important as Christ.
So every single thing that you could imagine, they have tied up in this agenda. They all believe they flew to the bottom of this here sphere and the sun circled around the Tropic of Capricorn, 93 million miles away from them. No, sorry, they spun. It wasn't the sun that was moving. The Earth spun, supposedly, and they witnessed a 24-hour sun. So now he wants to say that the timing, so it's not 2024 anymore. It's what did he say it was? We're now in after TFE, right?
BTFE and ATFE.
ADTFE, right? Let's hear that again. Could you get any more blasphemous? Who does this guy think he is? Christ?
Yeah.
I think he's the second coming of the resurrection of Yahushua, really?
Topic of flat Earth will always be remembered pre-TFE and post-TFE.
No, it won't. Right? I debunked this 8 years ago with Juranism right here.
Okay, so we're saying that the sun is traveling kind of on that yellow line there?
The sun would be on this line. Well, yeah, the yellow would be the opposite of the shadow, right?
So he absolutely had no idea what I was talking about. I debunked it, not you. Jason debunked it, not you. B, what does he say? ADTFE? This guy's making up resurrection acronyms.
We were beyond flat Earth when we began, right?
Yeah, way before. Look, this channel that we're on here, this is beyond flat Earth. Right here, I'll put this in the chat just in case anybody wants to watch that. Now, I have changed a lot. And also the interview that I had, Jaron, he finally joined me. It was like 1 a.m. He was on the East Coast. Look, it was so long ago that I was using Google or Windows. Don't use Windows, everybody. This was a Google thing we can go through sometime if people want. I still have this Google Slides. It's called The Sun, right? Where I was showing Juranism, how it worked. This is Beyond Flat Earth. Again, this was a re-upload because they took my channel down, and I'm so grateful that I put this up on Beyond Flat Earth because it was documented. It was published, and I just copied the description box when I put it up, September 11th, 2016. So, really, your experiment is just, really old and weak, right? You were just confirming what I had found and what Jason had found. And so, yeah, here it is. This is what's going on. You on the other side of the screen. It's up to you. If you want to believe that there's curvature and that you're on a spinning ball flying through infinite space through other spinning balls, and this guy wants to tell you that proves the Bible. Or, is he debunking the Bible with it?
He's trying to.
Right?
Yeah, so that right there is another timestamp. If you look in the description box, the first 4 fundamental truths, we had those beginning in February of 2018. So number 2 is real important because we are already able to make the connection that the people that were pushing the single pole pressurized pizza dome were trying to connect it to the Bible because we could see already back then, this is February of 2018, that they were going to try to connect the Bible to the impossible model to take the 2 down, trying to take down the Bible. And so Doofus here is the guy who's claiming credit for it and calling himself the Messiah.
Basically, his experiment he's using as the resurrection of Christ. Because when Christ resurrected, that's when we started our count. Now we're at the year 2024 from that date, which atheists really don't like to talk about, right? Jason, if you want to take the screen share, did you show the timestamp of when we first found the map and model and when we brought it out, the Andrew Marsh program, which is a representation of a local sun rising and setting into the ground around an observer. We actually had that program. What's the timestamp on that? I don't remember.
That's not the one.
I don't remember exactly.
Magnifying
You've got
glass.
the timestamp. I went through the timestamps that I wanted to share. There was one more that we got to get through before we head out for this rest of this late evening.
Yeah, this is an important one. This is streamed live on December 7th, 2018. It's unlisted right now. Fake Flat Earth Satanic Freemason AE Map Model app is almost completely wrong. BFE live with call-ins. And so this was the first time we began using the Andrew Marsh program because
YD.
Yep. Because we at the time only had SunCalc that we were using, and the problem with SunCalc is it's so flat and two-dimensional. It does show you the rise angle. It shows you the zenith. It shows you all the positions. You got to look at the data over here. But this is just hard for a lot of people to comprehend. This has the sun coming out of Earth and setting into Earth. But then what happened is this is the reason why that's all happening, right?
Everything is always perfectly square, coming to our eyes in perfectly straight lines, exactly the way perspective demands. With our eye line as our center field of view, where the horizon ramps up to meet the sky, depending on our altitude, this is all provable that we live on a flat Earth.
All right, so here's the way each and every one of you, if there's any doubt in your mind, all right, this is the way any one of you can check and verify for yourself. So this is the first time I'm using the Andrew Marsh tool in a live stream. And the first thing I do is I'm showing on the Tropic of Capricorn that the sun is rising from south of east, setting to the south of west, but it also is 90 degrees directly overhead here as well. This program right here, I'm going to drop this in the chat again. It's so handy. It's pretty easy too.
Do you need a dome piece that you got to order off Amazon to go with this app, or
no?
Just your mind. No. What do you mean? You can look up in the sky exactly where it says to. You don't have to get a dome or a.
Keep in mind, this is the software. Here's the dome right here. You can see it three-dimensionally, right? That you can put your model in here and it'll show how the shadows are cast. Somebody asked in the chat whether or not we use SketchUp to show the shadows. This program, it's all built right in. It'll take your 3D model and based on the sun's azimuth and altitude, it'll show you the length of the shadows, the direction. The thing that McToon is doing with the shadows cast from the tripod, and he's got the snowballs marked around the edge. That's the exact same thing that this modeling program is doing right here. Right? You can watch this. That is the path that we see the sun, the moon, and the stars take in our circle of sight. Whatever distance that we're seeing to the horizon, that's where this all begins. That's where the sun rises, the stars, the moon.
If you want to get really biblical, okay, let's be truth seekers here, right? I honestly want to be around people that are truth seekers. The correct term is not dome. The Jesuits added the fake word dome. Okay, the correct word is bow or arch. Okay, and what you're looking at right there with the analemma, that is biblically the bow and the arch to the sky. And that's how we see. We don't know exactly how it's created or how that it all works, because it's a super high-end, fully immersive virtual reality. We know that.
I can't believe I said that.
Because we did use the word simulation for a while.
Yeah.
But you nailed it right there. That was December 7th, 2018. Wow. Yeah, and so this is the model that we've been using ever since, because it's such a great way to show people that it's a fixed and stationary plane that has the luminaries rising from the plane and setting into the plane. So all of our opponents on the Spaceball side are always trying to say that, oh, that's a globe model. That's a globe model. Well, no, the globe model does not say that the sun rises from a fixed and stationary plane and sets into a fixed and stationary plane. Only we do. We were mocked for ever since 2018 here. Mocked. Oh yeah, they think the sun rises from Earth and sets into Earth, and they called us crazy virtual reality guys. But now the globe model, they don't have anything that predicts the azimuth and elevation angles that doesn't show the sun rising from Earth and setting into Earth, and they want to say that those models are theirs. Well, no, they're not.
No,
they are ours.
Absolutely.
That
And
because supernatural things take place all the time, but that is the biblical word arch or bow of the sky, and that is biblical, people.
Enoch talks about it too.
So here's the same location, right? Here's the map over here. Here's Brazil. We got the pin down there at Rio de Janeiro. And you can get your orientation here. I've got us facing north right now. And I'm just going to swing around here so that you can see that for the person in the center of this circle of sight, they're holding a compass. Now they've got north pointing to their left. They're looking straight forward to the east. And they're going to see the sun rise from south of east. South of east. And then here is the path. It's going to come up like this. It's going to arch over them. And you can verify all this by the shadows. All right. So Rio de Janeiro, we know that there's going to be tons and tons of webcams. All right. You can just watch a street corner webcam. And as long as there is some sort of vertical post, like a light post, a stop sign, anything, right? You can see from the shadows, get your orientation. A lot of times you just find a north-south running street or east-west running street, and just watch the shadows off of vertical posts. And as soon as the sun starts to rise, what you are going to see is that you're going to see the shadows are cast long and to the northwest. All right. Going to be cast in this direction right here to the northwest. That means that the light is low and south of east. And then as these shadows come up throughout the day, keep in mind that I moved the day. Got the wrong slider. Overhead and here. So this is the key anything moment. That's a vertical post. Trying to get the slider right on. There. All right. Where are the shadows?
Just about gone.
All right. So this is a big thing. This is how we navigate on Earth. It's by using the position of the luminaries. We can tell that this is at the Tropic of Capricorn, that we're at the winter solstice, and then what you have is the sun 90 degrees overhead, so it's not casting any shadows. See, none of these things can be done with the heliocentric version of the software, where it tries to show it as a ball in space. This only works on the plain version, where you can actually import models and see the correct path of the shadows anywhere on Earth.
Yeah, they don't have the city on the side of the sphere when Jason goes to that model to show you how the ecliptic plane with the tilt doesn't work on the equinoxes.
They won't even let you get a close-in view with that model.
No, they can't, because it doesn't exist. That's Will Duffy's own words himself. What a great night. I think everybody, I'm so excited. I'm grateful that we were able to go through this content tonight, and we'll continue to bring this stuff. I know there's going to be a rise and grind. We'll see what's going on. Everything's pretty quiet with the news, but we'll still have some stuff to cover. Apparently, Canada's turning into the 51st state. It's crazy. The GDP is it's lower than Memphis and stuff. It's like the worst. It's really bad. It's really bad. Like Delaware has a better GDP apparently than Canada. We're going to see. I don't know how that's possible, But we'll have some great hits from the last 24. I mean, we'll definitely be looking into some great music and some news, and we'll see what's up. As always, I don't know what else we'll be covering, but we're definitely going to be back with more Flat Earth content.
Yeah, covering the latest and breaking stuff within the fake Flat Earth, and hopefully some people actually get interested in the model that was able to predict this all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually find it. But yeah, if you guys could, leave a comment if you want, or share the content with anybody that might be looking for truth, we'd appreciate that. Jason, it's been fun.
Absolutely.
Great definition and explanation to the angular resolution and how we really can't see that far.
I can improve the performance of my presentation, and it's a little bit of a tough subject that once you get it and understand that there is a limit to light, right? The angular resolution will cut off light based on the diameter of the aperture. Then those limits right there, any claims that exceed those limits, we can just throw out the window and know that they're made up nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll stay with that topic. We'll get better at it. And where's the only place people are going to get this content, brother?
Only on the Howisha News Networks.